The CEO of LA counties, of the supervisors, so like the board of supervisors have a CEO, San Diego has one, LA County has one. She was paid a $2 million settlement because she was hurt by a local measure and she was upset about it. So, should we just go ahead and jump into the video and we'll discuss after?
Sure, yes.
All right, let's do that.
A $2 million settlement approved by the LA County Board of Supervisors is raising eyebrows tonight. The payout is going to a high-ranking county leader.
Yeah, it was agreed to over the summer, but is only now being made public. CBS LA political reporter Tom Waite joins us to explain why taxpayers are footing the bill for it. Tom?
Right, so Susie, LAist first reported this story, and it surrounds Phaedra Davenport, LA County's CEO. Right now, the position is appointed by county supervisors, but in 3 years, voters will pick the CEO. Davenport says the change is causing her physical and emotional mental distress, and she wants to be paid out. LA County Board of Supervisors meeting July 29th. County CEO Phaedra Davenport delivers a devastating report about the county's financial crisis.
We are looking at what I call a tidal wave of profound impacts, all hitting at the same time.
It would be at this same meeting in a closed session where Davenport would accept a $2 million personal payout from the county. Why, you ask? A county source tells CBS LA it's all connected to Measure G, which was approved by voters last November. Measure G expands the Board of Supervisors and changes the county CEO job Davenport currently holds from being appointed to an elected position, which means Davenport would have to run a campaign in 2028 to keep her job. Our source says supervisors fear Davenport would sue the county for allowing the change.
People seem to think that a county job is a Supreme Court appointment, a lifelong term. That's not the case.
Sarah Sadwani is a professor of
I want to pause here for a second because it's interesting that she automatically assumes that because it's going from appointed to elected that she won't keep her job. So I wonder if maybe that's a comment on the job she's doing and she doesn't want to run because people will be critical of her. But I thought that was interesting that she's like, oh, it's now elected, so I can't do this job anymore.
Yeah, I think that's interesting as well.
The professor of...
No, sorry, I was just saying, I did think about that. I thought she can run the greatest campaign because she can say, I've been doing this job for, what is it, like 5 years now? And
literally, she'd be the most qualified.
Exactly. And she could just speak to what she's done.
Mm-hmm.
The professor of politics, and she's also on the task force that's in place to implement Measure G.
This idea that her job was being harmed is not very clear to me, and seems like somewhat of a frivolous claim.
As Davenport detailed in her presentation, the night she accepted the $2 million payout, the county is facing a barrage of financial woes. The devastating January fires, overall tumultuous economic conditions, unpredictable support from the federal government, and the unprecedented $4 billion in payouts to victims of sexual abuse crimes stretching back decades that occurred in LA County's juvenile facilities. Zev Yaroslavsky served on the LA County Board of Supervisors for 2 decades.
That's new information. I didn't even know that story, that there's $4 billion in settlements that they have to pay out to people who were abused in LA juvenile centers.
Yeah, see, I feel like that kind of came up at one point and then was just brushed away. Maybe we need to go into that at some point. Not today. I mean, we should
not today, but that's a story. Yeah, I had never even heard of that story. I mean, you and I follow California news all the time. I'd never heard of that story. So it must be an older story, but it's interesting.
Decades.
This is not a reflection on her performance. I've been an advocate for an elected county executive as long as I was a county supervisor. The county of Los Angeles would be the 12th largest state in the union if it was its own state. To have it governed by a board of 5 people is really unseemly, and it causes delays.
Supervisors last year narrowly approved sending Measure G to voters in a 3-2 vote, with supervisors publicly disagreeing over it.
There is no requirement for the elected countywide executive to have the necessary skills or job qualifications to effectively allocate a highly complex, and regulated municipal budget.
This idea is uncomfortable to some people, and I understand that. And I trust the voters.
Last week, Davenport went on medical leave. A county spokesperson says it's unrelated to the settlement. That spokesperson says Davenport is expected back early next year. Susie?
All right, Tom, thank you so much.
I'm not going to make fun of a medical condition, but how convenient, because I'm sure it's paid medical leave. Anyway.
Yeah, but the story is wild because the video doesn't really go into it. So let me pull up this article because it goes into a little bit more of like why she's so upset about this. Let me pull this up real quick. All right. So this is from LAist, which is fast becoming like one of my favorite publications because they just do such great investigative journalism. Like all the homeless stuff that we talk about is mostly LAist, and it's actually this guy Nick Gerda. Hopefully, maybe we can get him on the show one day. That'd be cool. LA County's $2 million CEO payout was over claims she was harmed by ballot measure. LA County's secretive $2 million payout to its CEO 2 months ago, first revealed by LAist this week, was to settle her claims that she was harmed by a ballot measure that will change her job to an elected position and by the county's messaging. Davenport requested the settlement for what she claimed was, quote, reputational harm, embarrassment, and physical, emotional, and mental distress caused by Measure G. Emotional and mental distress, embarrassment as well.
I've been sued for that.
So it's this literally, when I said like she sued and she got this claim, she got this $2 million settlement because she got hurt in her fees, I was not kidding, because that's literally what her statement is that she got hurt mentally and there was emotional distress. In letters laying out her claims, Davenport said that while the measure made the case for structural changes, its text impugned her reputation by saying the lack of strong elected executive leadership has impacted our ability to address these challenges. She also wrote that she deserved compensation from her career as the at-will CEO being cut short by the shift to elected CEO in late 2028, which she said would lessen how much retirement she'd earn.
Wait,
Measure G.
I had no idea that they just guaranteed these people could keep their jobs forever. Like,
yeah, that is probably the most egregious statement of her is you're an at-will CEO, meaning like you can be fired at any time. Like you're not guaranteed. This is not a lifetime tenure. This is not a lifetime position. How can you say that I was cut short of all the money I was going to make as a CEO when you could have been let go at any time? I mean,
exactly.
It's similar to if you're an employee. That'd be like if I were let go from my job and I sued them and said, well, you should compensate me for all the time and money that I think, the money that I'm going to lose by not being here because I thought this was going to be a career position. They would laugh in my face and be like, no, you're at will, meaning we can get rid of you whenever we want. That when I read that jumped out at me like, you gotta be kidding me. She thinks that she was going to be here for the rest of her life and that she was just going to make all this government money and get paid by taxpayers. Also lessen how much retirement she'd earn. So she was banking on the fact that she was going to be a public employee for the rest of her life and she was going to get some big fat public pension. So Measure G, quote, ends my career as CEO at least 2 years earlier than I intend. Okay. Welcome to everybody else's life. Like this is everybody's life. Go ahead.
So we pulled her salary. I don't know if you cared to share that or not, but she wasn't earning $1 million a year. So how did she get, even with her, well, I guess she was expecting some sort of, like you said, big pension, but even with her benefits, which she was earning quite a salary, but she wasn't earning $1 million a year. So she believes that she was going to hold this job for 5 years. She only gets it 3 more years and somehow $2 million is acceptable. Okay, carry on.
Let's see. I lost. Here we go. By receiving the payment in one lump sum, Davenport wrote she would be, quote, able to earn interest on the funds to help mitigate the lifelong impact of Measure G on my retirement allowance. Again, welcome to the real world, sweetheart. Like,
Oh my
you can be
God.
let go from a job before you think you're going to retire, before you think your career's over. You can be let go from an at-will position anytime. This is the real world. This is what everybody, most Californians, the large majority of Californians deal with, is that our fate is not necessarily in our hands. When you work for an employer, they could get rid of you tomorrow and you could lose out on retirement earnings or compensation, and that's just how it goes. It's almost, it's so entitled for her to sit here and say she was expecting this amount of money, she was expecting to retire in 2 years, and she expected to get this much retirement and this compensation. Like, you just shouldn't expect that that's guaranteed unless you have a contract. Unless you have a contract that you're supposed to be there a certain amount of years, then that's fine. But if you're at will and it's year to year, then
Right.
I don't know what to tell you.
So she sued and they settled. Is that what happened?
Basically, so this is from, let's see, I think yeah, Lindsay Horvath, who was one of the county supervisors somewhere, and she said, oh, right here, I was presented with two bad options: settle a claim I disagreed with or risk a protracted court battle. Horvath said in an emailed statement to the LAist. Either choice meant spending precious taxpayer dollars, but settling resolved the matter quickly. And she goes on to say, Measure G was never about any one individual. It's about reforming a broken system and returning power to the people. So, I mean, I guess like they were expecting that she was going to sue, and this would go on for years, and they'd fight it out, and then they have to pay the government attorneys of the county and all that. And so they just figured, just give her money and make her go away, because either way we're gonna have to fight this out. Or yeah. So
I just feel like this is going to possibly set a precedent for like other similar type employee situations where the position, like restructuring, is done and perhaps the position is eliminated or goes to an elected position, sort of thing. And they're going to just start being like, well, I thought I was going to be here another 12, 15 years, so I'm going to sue for several $1,000,000. That's crazy. Yeah. That's weird.
It's a crazy, entitled story of someone who works for the taxpayers and believes she is owed that much money. Also, welcome to everybody live in the chat and watching on YouTube. What up, Vallejo? Already checked in. Wherever you are watching, make sure you check in the chat. We love to see where you guys are checking in from, and so we can hear your comments and stuff like that. So that's basically that story. It got my blood boiling, because I was like, no one's really talking about the fact that this woman got $2 million payout, one lump sum, because she was entitled to what she believed she was entitled to, taxpayer dollars. And that is just wild to me. That LA already has enough problems as it is. Believe me, we've done like so much content on LA this year alone. And funny, if looking back, I think we said in January of this year, we were like, LA is going to provide so much content for us. And that was just with the wildfires. I had no idea it was going to provide like corruption, homelessness, all sorts of things. LA is a mess. LA County, LA City.
Yeah, I was going to say both, the city and the county. It's just
like, you guys are just an absolute mess. Like, y'all need to get it together up there in LA.
It sounds like they're trying to.
At least they're trying to.
Sounds like the board of supervisors wants to restructure some things, but they're possibly getting sued over it. So
yeah, I mean, at least I think the measure was a good idea. Like, it should be an elected position. People should be accountable. I think most public officials should be accountable to the people. I mean, we're paying you with our tax dollars, so